On Shabbat, we count our blessings, and we also are aware of our opportunity to be helpful to others. It's traditional before the lighting of Shabbat candles to take a tzedakah box and to take some money and to make a contribution, signifying that as we get ready to enjoy our bounty, our blessings, we're mindful that we're God's partners in healing the world and tending to the needs of others. Well, what I'd like to do is share with you the dollar bill. It's not yet Shabbat, and therefore I hope you have a dollar bill to look at. It'll be easier than seeing it on the screen, and I hope that the dollar will never be the same. Do you know that on this dollar bill is the number 1776? So this is again the July 4th celebration. And on this dollar bill is a Magen David. And I want to come around to talking about, was this Magen David, the 13 stars of the 13 colonies, formed as a Star of David, as a Jewish symbol to thank Chaim Solomon, the great financier who helped the Revolutionary War? Or is that urban legend? But before I get to answering that question of the Jewish connection, there's a broader Jewish connection to so much that's part of America. Even when we see the words, "In God we trust," there's a resonance to Psalms, just like our prayers tonight. Psalm 31:7. Va'ani el Adonai betachti. And as for me, in God I trust. And I tend to think that Francis Scott Key, when he put "In God we trust" in the fourth stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner, he was also drawing on Psalms. There are two circles on the $1 bill, which were designed by a committee that Benjamin Franklin headed. It took 4 years. He was commissioned by the Continental Congress to design our national emblem. He, Benjamin Franklin, initially thought that it should be the people of Israel coming through a split sea, because he saw America as the new land, the promised land. That didn't win out. 4 years of debate and then 2 years to get it approved came up with these two symbols. So the first symbol has a pyramid on it and an eye. And in Latin, above it, it's written "Annuit coiptis," which means God has favored our undertaking. And below the pyramid, in Latin, "Novus Ordo Seclorum," a new order has begun. And at the base of the pyramid, in honor here of July 4th, are the Roman numerals for 1776. The eye represents God. In Theosophy, a kind of a popular 18th century understanding of how God is present in the world and a reclaiming of the wisdom of the ancients. But it was to say that our task as Americans would only be accomplished with God's help. That's what those statements in Latin mean as they began celebrating 1776 as the beginning of an adventure, but the war was still going on. I'll come back in a moment to the war. The war only begins in 1776. We won't yet be a country. And on the other side, this national symbol has an eagle. The eagle was chosen as the symbol for America, also with a biblical resonance. God says, "I will take you out from Egypt on the wings of an eagle." And so the founders of America said, the eagle represents the ability to overcome storms. Because an eagle can soar above the storm, we will always be strong as a people. And in the talion of this eagle are the olive branch, that's the Noah story, the olive branch, the symbol of peace, and it's in that direction that the eagle is looking. We as a people look toward peace. But in the other talion are Arrows to say if we need to defend ourselves and go to battle, we can. The eagle does not have a crown, because we were to say we have overthrown the crown of England. We are a free people without a royal king. And more, the shield is not attached to say we stand as a nation on our own. And now for the Magen David. Above the eagle's head are 13 stars in the shape of a six-pointed symbol. And so a popular story that I was told, and that is, which this part is true, there was a Jew, and his name was Chaim Solomon. He came to America in 1772, and he was a successful wheeler and dealer of securities, of commissions, of lending money to others. And he, in the course of his life, would give $650,000 to George Washington and the troops, which in our current dollars is between $16 and $18 million. In fact, he would die a few years after the war, penniless. It was not money that the Continental Congress was able to repay him. And in particular, the last of those great battles was the battle at Yorktown. George Washington wanted to take his troops to fight what would become the final battle, but there was no money for food. And so it was, with the help of Chaim Solomon, in that case $20,000, to provide provisions that allowed for victory. Clearly, a part of the story of American independence is his contribution financially. Though I will add, there were 2,000 Jews in 1776 in America. And of those 2,000, close to 100 became Jewish soldiers. Every adult Jew in Charleston, South Carolina, enlisted. Small numbers were not responsible by any means for the victory, nor necessarily Chaim Solomon, though his contribution was great. In sum, the Mint says that it wasn't to be in honor of Chaim Solomon, and it's possible, but there's no documentation that that is the case. But it is to say that we as Jews have had the privilege of being at home in America. And whether it's a Magen David as part of what is symbolized on this bill, what is symbolized is a biblical tradition that is part of our shared legacy. What is true on this dollar bill is a statement from Psalms, "In God we trust." What is true about this dollar bill, it is a symbol of the unity of us as a people, providing opportunity. United States, but not till 1789, and then only with the federal government passing the Bill of Rights and the Constitution first, gave us as Jews the right to be full members of a society. The United States is the first country to give Jews the right to vote as equal citizens. This has been, in many ways, our promised land. That symbol of the eagle, bringing us to a place where we were free, has been our shared legacy, no matter where our families came from, no matter when we joined the Jewish people. We, as Jews in America, are privileged to be part of a land in which we are full participants, in which we have a vote, in which we have a voice, in which we are privileged to celebrate on this July 4th weekend our participation, our gifts of living in the home of the free and the land of the brave. May we take our money and know that it connects us to 1776, that it connects us to the gifts of America, and may we put our money in our tzedakah boxes, as we know that as Jews and as Americans, it is our calling to share our celebration. Shabbat Shalom.